Hi, my name is Carl Sherman, and I'm the mayor of the City of DeSoto. Today, we're going to talk about Veterans Appreciation Day coming up November 10th from 9 to 12. We're really excited about this, and I'll tell you the reason that we are doing this for the first time ever in our history. In coming back from our U.S. Conference of Mayors this year and speaking with Vice President Joe Biden, one of the things that he focused on in talking about for our country was that we need to really show more appreciation to our veterans. And in looking at the agenda that the U.S. Veterans Affairs Director Shinseki has set forward, I must say that it's a bold initiative that we're on board as the All-American City of DeSoto to do. And so coming up, you're going to hear more about this. But today, I want to talk with some folks that have been so kind to come on this show. Beginning first to my left, Mr. Edward Blackstone, who is a veteran that lives in this city. And also to my left is Dee Brown, who is a employee of the Veterans Affairs Department. And to my right is none other than Terri Adams, who is also with Veterans Affairs. So let's go ahead and start. I'd like to just start right into it. Mr. Blackstone, you are a resident of DeSoto, and
Yes.
You are a veteran. Could you tell us about your experience as a veteran?
I feel like I'm one of the most qualified veterans here today, in that I entered the service in 1948, and I spent 24 years, of which I went in as a private and retired as a Chief Master Sergeant. The second portion of that is that I met my wife while I was in the service. She was in the service, and we married, and she's a veteran and also lives here in DeSoto. And that's a second part to this thing that I'll talk about maybe later. Saying that, I got out in 1972, and I've been a veteran for 40 years this month. I got out 40 years ago this month.
My.
I've used all the veterans facilities that I've thought that I could have used. I've had several operations on my eye, broke my Achilles tendon, things like that. And I've had excellent service in every case from the VA, no matter whether it was here, San Francisco, Maryland, wherever I've lived, I've used it. And it's been really a godsend to have been working with the VA for these last 40 years.
Well, Mr. Blackstone, thank you. God bless you and your wife, and thank you both for your service to this country. You know, one of the things that really concerns me as mayor of this city is that I believe we could always do better for our veterans. You've served us so valiantly, and we should do the same in serving you to ensure that every veteran has their benefits. It was something to hear that 54% of our veterans don't receive their benefits. And many because they are just not aware of all their benefits or how to navigate the process. Once you come out into the civilian world, it can be a little different. Could you tell us more about that, Dee, and your work with the Veterans Affairs Department?
Well, and thank you. Let me first say thank you for your services. And I met my husband too while he was serving,
Yes,
and he's
I heard.
retired Air Force.
Yes.
And with that being said, what we do at the Department of Veterans Affairs, I work in a procurement office, and there's a particular benefit that is available to our veterans that own small businesses. And you mentioned
Yes.
Mr. Shinseki stating that we have a particular goal that we have to meet, and providing procurements or procuring services that help support them. And one of our goals for FY12 just come out, our numbers for that was between 10 and 12%. And here in the North Texas region, our VA has gone out of their way to make certain they exceed the number that was required, and they were able to. And I was telling her this before we started, that they bring between 19% and 20%. So they exceeded that in making certain that our veterans were aware that they too have their own businesses, and we can help them with receiving federal contracts and things of that nature to help support that, as well as stimulate the economy.
Yes.
So there's a way that we can go about doing that. We have contracting officers that are there to help and assist on our website, on VetBiz, as well as the VA. They can go in and they can see we've already listed some of the services that we would need for FY13. So they can get a head start with that and looking at those and determining whether or not their companies have the skill set to provide that. And in doing so, we will help them with information that they would need to be able to ascertain those contractual awards, not just in the VA, but also across all federal agencies.
Well, that's a very important aspect of economic development and for the quality of lives for all of our veterans, those that have small businesses. One of the stories I heard about was a veteran who has a janitorial service, and he was doing about $200,000 to $300,000 a year. After getting in touch with the folks at Veterans Affairs Commission, he was able to turn his business from the $200,000 to $300,000 to $2 to $3 million. Now, that's great, and that means something for that veteran's family. But then when you also couple that with the fact that he has an extreme propensity to hire other veterans, it now does something to help our entire family of veterans. So thank you, and you will be here on November 10th.
Yes,
that's
I will.
My understanding, and so thank you, and look forward to introducing more of our veterans in the city of DeSoto to Dee Brown. Now, to my right, I've got Terri Adams, and Terri is also with Veterans Affairs, and she does quite a bit, especially in the area of mental health. I'd like for you to just expound to our audience about some of the services that you provide for veterans in that area.
Well, thank you, Mayor Sherman, for inviting me. It is always a pleasure to talk to veterans. And I want to say to my veterans listening, welcome home, and thank you for your service. Mayor Sherman, you are correct. What we do, I work for an agency that's Readjustment Counseling. We are the Department of Veterans Affairs. And so what we do is that a lot of veterans, once they have been in the military, especially those who have been in combat or been deployed overseas in support of a combat mission, they find that when they return home, it's not the same. Other people may tell them that you're not the same, you're changed. A lot of times when veterans return home, they have problems with alcohol, drugs, just having problems fitting in. And so what we do at the Vet Center, we do the counseling to help them to adjust to civilian life. A lot of times family members notice that the veteran just isn't the same. He's just, his temper is short, or he's impatient, or he has trouble holding down the job. It's a lot of problems that they have to overcome with that adjustment from military to civilian life. And so what we do at the Vet Center is that we help them through counseling to find ways to adjust to civilian life. We also do referrals. We do marriage and family counseling, because when veterans return, normally if they're married, that's the first place that the problems are going to start. They're going to come up in the marriage. So we do the marriage and family counseling. In addition to that, we have another mission is we do bereavement counseling. If a veteran has been on active duty and was killed while they were on active duty, then we do counseling, bereavement counseling for the family members. And I want the veteran community to know that this is no charge. The debt has already been paid. So the only thing you have to do is come in our office and bring a copy of your DD-214. That's it. There's no other eligibility requirement.
Great, great. When our young men and women sign up for duty, the sacrifice that may be required of them, they really don't know.
Absolutely.
It's almost like they're giving the government a blank check that says, whatever you want to put on there, I'm willing to do and serve and redeem that. And so knowing that, we really have some things to do in order to show them our appreciation.
Absolutely.
I was talking to Congresswoman Johnson a couple of weeks ago, and the meeting was slotted for 15 minutes. We were going to just talk, and I wanted to talk to her about Veterans Affairs and what we're going to do here. That meeting ended up going over 2 hours, and she shared with me her first tour to Iraq, and how when she went to Iraq, she had different expectations than what she really saw when she arrived on the ground, and seeing all of these soldiers across the desert, and no housing or anything set up. This was the first tour. And she asked, well, where are they going to sleep? And the answer was, wherever they can find a space. Where they're going to go to the restroom. And all these things. So you really don't know, as a civilian, the cost that is required. In war, the cost many times is their life. And so we want to show appreciation to their families as well. Mr. Blackstone, you said you met your wife in the military. Could you share with us a little bit about that?
Yes, I met her in the military in 1952. We married in 53. We've been married ever since. And the point that I wanted to bring up, though, in regards to the VA was that in 1997, she came down with Alzheimer's, and at that point, she has been gradually deteriorating in her ability to walk, talk, or do other things. I've kept her home since 1999, and in 2007, she became completely disabled, bedridden. I was unable at that point to even take her to the VA hospital because you take her in a wheelchair, she slumped over, we're waiting out there in the hall. They suggested that they had a program called home care. And their home care program now has a doctor that comes once a year, gives her an exam, a nurse that comes once a month and checks for all her vital signs, a physical therapist that comes and gives her exercise, and a lady that comes 3 days a week to allow me to go shopping and go to the store. All of that's provided by the VA. Wow. And that was something that I didn't know anything about until the VA volunteered that information to me, and that has worked out really well.
That's great.
It works excellent from my point of view, and the people who are working there seem to have a pleasure in coming in and taking care of her.
That's great.
It's something that people didn't know. I would have never thought someone would come to my house and take care of her from the VA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, and I hope and trust and pray that that story will also be spread throughout our community, so others who are going through the same thing can benefit from that as well. Now I'm going to pick one of you to do the last statement before I do my close because of time. So I'm going to just do the person that's to my left, Dee Brown. If you have one last statement that you'd like to make, and this is relating to why someone would want to come to the Veterans Appreciation Day on November 10th from 9 to 12.
Last statement. Well, we want them to come out. We want them to come out so that they too are aware of, they can ask us any question they would like. There will be no boundaries there. We can help them. We can give them that one-on-one attention that maybe they have missed along the way. They can ask us any questions and just get to know us. Many times people don't know that we too are either veterans or we have loved ones, such as my spouse as a veteran. So we are vested. Yeah. We are a family. And I care that they're receiving the proper care. Because when my husband goes to the VA, I expect for the same care to be provided. So I want them to know that we are a family. We are a close-knit family. We are either veterans ourselves or spouses, dependents, and we're there for them. So if they come out, we will give. We will give whatever that they've asked so that they can have what is readily and appropriately available for them.
Very well. Very,
Very
well.
well.
Well, I want to thank Terri Adams. I want to thank Dee Brown. I want to thank Edward Blackstone, and for your time, for being here today to talk about Veterans Appreciation Day. To all of our citizens, we need you to inform your friends and family that have served this country, to let them know about Veterans Appreciation Day. It's going to be a wonderful event. The ROTC will be here, the band will be here, and Congresswoman Johnson is also one of our invited guests, who is our keynote speaker. So we look forward to showing our appreciation. And then finally, to our restaurants and other retailers in the community, we want to thank you for the discounts and other benefits that you provide to our veterans. And anything we can do to help you to promote your business, we'll do that, like Acapulco's. Thank you very much. God bless you. And thank you for watching DeSoto today.